to perform our national anthem. Please welcome country music superstar Trace Atkins.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We just saw in the front row veterans from Soldier Strong who took that moment to get up out of their wheelchairs and stand as the flag was raised. Amazing organization that helps veterans get up and walk with the help of an exoskeleton. So,
Trace Atkins with a acapella version, the national anthem, and you see a really wide-ranging defense of the Trump administration from Vice President Mike Pence. At one point, quoting Joe Biden saying, "No miracles are coming," and saying, "I have news for you, America is a nation of miracles." Really pointed when it came to law and order, saying the hard truth is you won't be safe in Joe Biden's America.
You know, it's also interesting, he also echoed a line that Bill Clinton said, but turned it around. He said, if you want a nation who falls silent when our heritage is demeaned or insulted, then he's not your man. Remember, Bill Clinton said, if you want a president who watches TV and spends a lot of time on social media, then he's your man. So Mike Pence taking that opportunity to flip that around.
As we did last night in the Rose Garden, it's worth pointing out that anybody who is around the president and the first lady gets tested. COVID-19 test. We assume that everybody in this area did. We don't have that nailed down, but we assume that's the case. We're back with our panel. We'll get some final thoughts from all of us here. Dana, first to you.
Well, I think that let's look at the staging of this event, right? If you want to put on a good event for the vice president, they put one on tonight at Fort McHenry. That was a beautiful scene. The surprise of the president and the first lady arriving for this moment. It also is in stark contrast to the Biden campaign. There are ways that you can do some of these things in a safe way in the middle of coronavirus, and I feel like that the Biden-Harris team has got to figure out a way to get out of Delaware and get on the road and campaign, because this convention will give President Trump a little bit of a boost. It might be fleeting for both candidates after their conventions, but I think that this is just a key to that. The last thing I would say is the political speeches were great tonight, but I think that their focus on everyday heroes showed quite a contrast as well to the Democrats' convention. Everyday heroes will beat celebrities every single time.
Juan, just a thought on that, the staging of this. You know, we all look back at the moment with Kamala Harris looking out at the empty room with the old placards, you know, for each state. It was an awkward, difficult moment. There were many ways to take advantage of an opportunity to do that in a different way. You know, I think if you're her tonight, you're looking at this saying, you know, why didn't I get something a little bit more energetic?
Well, I think it's been a tremendously well-produced program. I don't think there's any question about it. But for me, I just find that there's such a dissonance between this glossy, well-done reality show, if you will, Martha, and what's going on in America tonight in terms of, you know, the reports of violence in Kenosha, Minneapolis, and elsewhere. I think it's sort of an unsettled reality, even as we've seen many black speakers here at this convention speaking on behalf of President Trump. That we have such racial tension, and we heard from Vice President Pence tonight an emphasis on law and order and that you won't be safe in Joe Biden's America. Biden today came out and made a statement in which he said protest is a right, but violence is wrong. And I thought that Mike Pence might have something to say about the shooting of that young man in Kenosha, but instead, again, his focus was on the notion of violence. So I think that's a key distinction between what we're hearing from Republicans and Democrats.
Brett, what stood out to you?
Well, you know, these conventions for many years now have been basically 4-day shows. And so a lot of how you assess them is based on the stagecraft. The stagecraft tonight, and I think it's fair to say the other nights, has been pretty sharp, as others have suggested. And this idea that you end up with a national anthem and Old Glory flying over Fort McHenry and Trump and Pence having ended his speech on that note, and then the President and First Lady come out. You know, that's pretty good stuff in terms of putting on a show. As for the speech tonight, the main speech, Mike Pence's speech, Pence is kind of a workmanlike speaker, you know, but his speech seems to be well written, and obviously it was packed with jabs at Biden and attempts to defend the Trump record, which is, after all, in the end, what this week has to be about for the Republicans. You know, it's generally believed they're behind. I think they believe they're behind, and they're hoping this will give them a boost. I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
The president doing what he loves to do at these events. He's taking pictures with the folks in the front row. My guess is that he will hang around for quite a while doing just that. He enjoys this part of campaigning. Chris Wallace, your thoughts on what we saw tonight?
Well, you know, people have used the word stagecraft. That's exactly the right word. If they put this much thought and this much stagecraft into the acceptance speech by the vice president, I can't even imagine what tomorrow is going to be like when Donald Trump delivers his acceptance speech on the South Lawn of the White House. I thought it was a very well-crafted speech. Spent the first part of it making as strong a case as you can imagine for the Trump record. I think he took some liberties in the way he described the president's response to the coronavirus, but that happens in political speeches. And then really took apart Joe Biden's record on foreign policy, on the economy, on his response, the fact that and we all commented on it last week, that he didn't say a word about the violence in the streets of America, and they're going to hammer that, no question about it. A very effective speech. And, you know, the most remarkable thing about tonight, think about this. How often have you seen Donald Trump at a big public event where he doesn't say a word? And actually, I applaud him, because this is Mike Pence's night, and he's not one-upping him. He's paying tribute to him, as he should. Mike Pence has been a good, loyal soldier. He did a really good